Hi, I would like to read some remarks that I've prepared about the annual budget, which the FY 2011 budget proposal is pretty scary to me because it's built on prayers, basically. In order for this budget to work, you've got to pray, for one thing, that the state comes through with its share of revenues. I don't think that's a given. You've got to pray that NIU doesn't make major layoffs. You've got to pray that the prices of gas and salt don't go up farther than you've anticipated. You've got to pray that nobody sues us for multiples of millions, and that council will pass 2 tax hikes, and that a water tower doesn't spring a leak. You've got to pray that your major revenue projections are in the ballpark this year, and that the staff can keep the lid on overtime in the face of massive layoffs. Doesn't look good to have that $50,000 as a buffer. Even if the budget gods grant all of your prayers, with this plan you still won't have enough money by the end of the fiscal year to buy the squad cars and the liability coverage that we need. Prayer will not take the place of council's fiduciary responsibilities to approve a realistic budget that covers the basics and affords some protection against some of these contingencies. I urge you to, at this time, reject this budget proposal and direct a return to the drawing board. What we need right now is we need a survival budget. The survival budget should be based on preserving our core services of police, fire, water, streets, and some safety net support, while making some deep cuts in expenditures that are not directly related to these core services, and providing a buffer for these contingencies. Here are some of my ideas for a survival budget plan. Step 1 would be to systematically reduce compensation, increase health plan contributions, and eliminate goodies such as car allowances for all non-contractual employees, and to insist on the same types of cuts for others as contracts come up for renewal. One thing that has stuck in my craw for the past couple of years is approving contracts that contain step plans of double-digit pay increases. That doesn't make sense under the economic circumstances. Step 1.5 would be not to approve employment contracts for more than a year at a time until we reach a level of stability. I don't know if a decision's been made on that or not. Step 2 would defer special projects and equipment purchases for departments and programs that are not directly related to public safety, such as INT, the forestry program, and yes, the municipal band. Step 3 would place a 1-year freeze on expenditures for capital improvements not directly related to core services, for example, the airport. I don't think we should be trying to come up with those matching funds at this time. Step 4 would reduce allocations to economic development organizations that are not and have not been producing adequate returns on investment. Step 5 would involve a team to serve as a fine-toothed comb to question single expenditures that need to be questioned, such as the inexplicable doubling of the marketing budget. Last but certainly not least, step 6 would be to commit to further utilizing the Financial Advisory Committee for brainstorming and practical advice in implementation of a survival budget and the restructuring, the reorganization that this would entail. Mayor, Council, in May of 2008, I will remind you that a small group of informed and interested residents requested deeper cuts and improved spending priorities. They were ignored, and a year later, we were facing layoffs. In May of 2009, a similar group made the same plea and was again brushed off. And now the situation is even more dire. I hope that the third time's the charm. Otherwise, next year, I do firmly believe that we could find ourselves in a hole that takes as much of as a generation maybe to climb out of. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.